Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
Nesikuulira yogera ku muzinda.
Yango boli. Kulayigye is a senior man.
Yes.
Toyita ganti oli wamaje yasooka yafiira mu kinaabiro. Nono yafiiridde mu kinaabiro. Kwega abamaje bamanyira kunaabira mu tenti. Museveni yagenda okiyengeramu ng'embaga emaze okutegekebwa.
Kirileti.
As an obedient son, yagikiriza n'ayimiriza embaga ye. But as long as Museveni takutte kwono munne, n'asikana ng'akola bino byakola, tuyinza okwesanga mu kizibu. Because all of them are fighting for the future. Two, nti abantu bamaze okunamira ebibiina byabwe bakyaddayo. Eba Kagabo. Bani?
Kagabo.
Yes.
By the way.
Two, bakasola abali bamaze okumunyiriza nti NRM is a political liability. Can Museveni solve that problem which is chasing away people in NRM in a day, in 2 years?
Kizibu.
Ekitegeeza this how to feed. Museveni bw'atayiiya n'agijja mu muhoozi. Muhoozi alina okubeera on a temporary person. Somebody will take over it.
That gap left.
Hey! Anti nkugambye nti Galanga yava mu magye ga Sudan akube bano ab'omu South. He was a colonel in the Sudanese army. Banyanya beetabulamu. Yakulosinga n'abaza. Ye kasa yabala nti bano balina cause. Naye balina problems, leadership. Ti 1966 bakuba Buganda. Yeyina bakawunawo kasanvu. But the question of guns. Museveni najja nga babbi akalulu ka kinaana. The question, lwaki Muteesa teyalwana? Ono n'alwana. Question of guns and organization. Bakawunawo ba Buganda baali kasanvu. They had no leader. N'omusajja yali akuuma. Abajaasi 13 baali bawadde Muteesa kamanda waabwe. Kasule teyakere. Polo teyajja yali muganda wa Miriam, mukoddomi wa Miriam. Mwenyina wa Miriam Obote. He didn't appear. Yategera nti bagenda kuba olubiri teyajja. Muteesa left with the 2 people. Era Obote bwe yalangira n'agamba ti yali heavily armed, amukwata yenna kyayagala kyamukola n'emmundu n'azisuula. Batambuza bigere. Omuntu yenna kasaalaba nti kino ekintu kisoboka. Naye management yekiremye. Many people would bet their money ku Kayiira. Kayiira was a Muganda, a Catholic, ate nga yasoma criminology in American University. Kayiira n'enkwanga bamesinga FEDM ne UFM. Museveni ye yalina experience. Yajijja kyenkunyonnyola kitegedde nti abantu musooke mwebuuze ekijjayo baganda ba Museveni.
Akuwagira
Ekiteekesaawo omuhoozi mutabani we gwe bamaze okudentinga monitor naani ne bagamba tamanyi kwogera ne bamwogeza ebyobusirwa. He came up era nawandika katabo kandi muhoozi bikamwe muhoozi. Museveni yamuhumiliatinze nenga omuhoozi masirivu longa. Ekyokubiri gw'omanye nti embwa gye waggulidde mu kayumba kaayo neerabako ebweru oba embuzi ekutudde ku mugwe kwetolooza ekyalo gugidde. Museveni zirake nti ono omwana wuwe. Abaganda batunulira Amini Robert. Abaganda bayimbanga erindi aba nange erindi awo. Erindi empologoma atuna naye erindi. Omanye Abaganda balina amagezi ag'okwekwe babiyisa muno. Oba batuula wa nabagambye nti babuuza mbu lwaki ye Mirundi tebamukuba. First of all amwe Muganda. Omuganda gw'atayagala atali Muganda muvuma. Era nabagambye nti otafiire musajja mugezi nnyo. Avuma mafia kuku tavumanga Kabaka na Mengo. Ye bavuma pa mafia kuku. Nkubuulira otafiire asobola Museveni asobola omuntu mamuli kikolwa Buganda n'afayo Kabakuba mu ngalo. Yayina bwavuma ne batakola ki. Mafia kuku ayina bavuma. Gwalodde ko tafiire Kalumba Kabaka. Yes.
Sajja yogerera bibye.
Abaganda kyebeezira muntu atali waabwe. Nabagambye nti Abaganda bajustifying ensonga. Bagamba omulangira mutamivu babamu amagezi negwe muvume Kabaka ngakuze emyaka gye egy'obuto gwatali Muganda kyo ayenga nfufu omuyita mutayenga nfufu. Bobo kabe boogera ebintu byabwe. Naye eri Karuwanga yagandi abaganda ko hey enkere yaragawa kabaka kufukamira waliwo majambere ya Rwanda yavuma abaganda munako biri yawona amasase emirundi yena
munako biri
ono gundi owinyeddolo n'amagawuni agakoti mengo yakati ye kabaka ngaba munjanja balwache mwogera koze ye kakatize twali kibasobola kunkola one amwe muganda bakinonyereza wonna ne baganda omusajja yeta twagala bwagazi atukuisaizinga ne musajja waabo wawano ekyokubiri omuganda bwaba oyina ekirungi ky'omukolera ajasifayinga nga bwe nkugenda kabaka bwaba omutamiivu ate omulangira sega mwenge tenywanga mwenge nvunza nezimuluma abalangira babamu amagezi kabaka ali akunswazi kabezi bajasifayinga ekindi kati bigenda bigamba bwolaba kavumye kayina eyo gyekabeera mu bufo kajja kanywedde walagibwako sinywanga nakuwalaki olotegeera bajasifayinga kino olumu kwogera bulungi olala nekakola ki ukaba kaze katamidde kabeera eri mukafu ne boogera nebyotaliyo nalaba omusajja ne mutuyanya ebigere nate yali ayogera nga twogera n'abantu nayimirira byali byafeetera ebyo babiki
omutuyanya ebigere
naga nti ako Kamirundi mukalaba nti kazaalibwa erimu bannayolanda bembanankabirwa ng'ate yetamumanyi
naye woolya
nga nange wendi ne mugaa nti abanyolanda Mirundi yeezi banzaalawo mbuulira asebo mbadde nti olimbira ki ennyondo neewa matoka yagenda awaluka paka mu paaka empya bagenda authoritatively
tabakumanye nnyo
nze nno gwenjogera mukulu gavumenti ya Museveni tesulako musajja mukulu ali munda mulimu ennyini oyo naye n'atabaaza ekyalo beegumya abaganda mukwegumya tobazenyerako Muteesa byaduka baga nti aganaza Muteesa katuluse ku nsalo e Rwanda amaje
okuva e Rwanda
kitange n'atuma n'ente gali ku nsalo amaje ga Muteesa agali ku nsalo e Rwanda mukaaga kayingidde naga Museveni mu 8 nabagamba nti kabaka akisiza omukono nebuyiya zogedde gyali naluwema labendekebwe zogera zogedde gyali naluwema mbu Muteesa gyali mulamu bawema obote Amini naguleeta naleeta enjole bagamba nti bene nekiwanuka ne obote begasse baleeta enjole ya Ssekabaka Muteesa bagikulule mu Kampala omulamu ate ayina enjole byombi biki
bituufu
federo togisi abaganda enjogera yabwe toyi bw'atali muganda beesonyiwe gwe totegeera bintu byabwe babizanyi bwe baba bakwagala nti Museveni ti oje yeddira nti eya Lubombwe nti agendewo Omutaka Katongole bamusimbire n'omutuba bwe banyiiga bwe bali Museveni yajja kusaanyawo Bwakabaka bw'ataasangawo You cannot understand Chiganda gundi. Wenze kubuulira nti when I analyze okyamukozi kivuddemu problems nyingi. Are you going to live with this vacuum?
And the charged supporters?
Yes. Can an officer have a party?
Tekisoboka.
Can he allow bano bakole?
Tekisoboka.
Kubanga bano ekibakozesa muti mukimanyi. Mpuuga tanalya ku ssente. Mukusoka nali ngamba
mpuuga tanalya ku ssente obukadde 5
obukadde 5 zizi za parliament but what I'm telling you mugoberera akatambi akaliko nga bo bennyini boogera gwaganya according to katambi ako tumwebaze yatuukirira Mpuuga namuga tukuwa billions 4 Mpuuga naga nti billion 4 nti eza Uganda beza $, nti eza Uganda nti mpozi nga za $. Namuga have you ever touched that money? Era munne yamuga nti those Baganda stubborn. Yes. Naye bamu creating a situation why nti ne meeting yeggulu babadde bayinamu abamalwalira amatono twagiteeti tinaba bakkiriza basokoole kubemula gwe babafubutudde bano abasajja tebeebaga 2 bayina gurupu gye balina ye eya nuupu gye baagala bakole ekibiina bakyekwekemu kakati ye Mpuuga baagala okukuliyetingira twabo nabaga nti Mpuuga alinga omukyala oyo yali mukyala mulungi naye nga bba civil servant yabeera waka alonda nkoko omukazi ono secretary basekretary abalina obuzibu nti abeera n'omusajja ebbanga ddene buli obeera n'omuntu ebbanga ddene you tend to observe certain things which ali not observed bababuulira ebizibu agenda namukontu namubuulira gundi problems n'alowooza nti ono bwamutwala eka agenda kukyukamu kozi be bamu yes omukazi anoonya empeta afukamira ne mulamu ali mu kibaya naye agifuna alabe mugamu kagundi yakyuka takyukanga kyali anoonya
yakifuna
yes kakati omukazi yagamba bba nti manager abadde andeepinga alowooza bba agenda mu appreciatinga
amubiddeko
bulabuzi yonna ogiraba omusajja ajuliza sijja nakuddayo ate omusajja yamugoba
genda
yaga nti olaba oli kunza alunda enkoko ogaana oli ayina sente
tekisoboka
ondagabulazi onkubira byebajjagalo. So the woman suffered twice. She lost her job to protect her husband.
The marriage.
Husband kisaawe kadde mpuuga kyalimu mpuuga sente yazikaana naye ate nga nze mbabuulira muka Bobi Wine yagenda mu Mutongo County Club ekiro
ebyo byogera ne bagamba Tamale yalimba. They dismissed that.
Mukalo Bongoya yagende Kalamuja nayo milioni 5.
They said you're lying.
Nabitwalya Lubongoya nabitwale wa principal namugazi zirye bwete butijjo bazanya era myai believe abazanya mpuuga tebagaliza nupu birungi bwe batyo bajjo bakola kuba nkyenkutonyedde kitegedde nti bana abaana bagala okukola political party naye nga baje kweseemu ekole bo batunulya mugozi tewulira lebe bagamba nga is an officer nti bo balowooza nti bawangudde. They are celebrating what you call deceptive victory. We're in a dangerous situation because the issue is, what is the contentious issue? The contentious issue is the future of these two factions. Muhoozi is mindful of his future. Nzembalaba boogera. Are we going to go to China to eat snakes? Do you want Muhoozi to go to China to eat snakes? Ate nga kikulaga nti bwe kibanga ono kyeyabuulidde munne nti ako n'akateebe ka Museveni ne Muhoozi nti ne ssente zebali bagenda omuwa baazizaayo jeno si yaziina otaganya bwerere ogende wa jeno baagala bakube bakumalemu akajanja oleme kunyooma omusajja n'amugamba nti recently we are punished and he said sorry change your character tayinza kuchenjinga character why he is mindful of the future ayina okubeerawo ne political party erimuyamba as a average
kale musamfutano 2 yogera kona fe 0 musamfutano 2
causes of youth unemployment in Uganda. Ne mbadde
oinako copy yako
mbadde nkuletedde kali konsabe nnyo obwakabaka bw'ekigenya
mpanso mem line yezo abantu bange bazaagala nnyo
obwakabaka bw'ekigenya
mu dakiika zino 2-3 abantu mbajukiza layineza abantu bazaagala nnyo
desole vugenya
awo
anna kawandiika nti the lion and Masai warrior tolaba gwe akatabo weekali Museveni ye lion ono gwe bamugamba nti Mirundi n'akateebe agenda kuba olede amagulu agatutte emikono agitutte osigaliza mutwe nobody is going to tell you to restrain him paka ngo ofuuse new character ye Masai warrior namwandikako nga ye Masai warrior
kano nketaaga mwana akafune tuberenga tukafuna kale akatabo bakaita
the lion
yes akatabo bakaita the lion and Masai warrior the casualties of the succession battle tandikire ku mutwe kugamba the story of Ugenya kingdom. Okay, 5 years ago I published a Uganda book titled Musanje ng'alwana ne mukoddomi we Lwembaawo. In English translation, the title of the book tells how King Musanje struggled to save his kingdom from his son-in-law Lwembaawo. I narrated the story that happens in this fictitious kingdom called Ugenya, and I wrote, Ugenya kingdom was like other kingdoms of the time, and the inhabitants of Ugenya were good people who were also very hardworking. Unlike other kingdoms that suffered constant succession battles, whenever a reigning king died, Ugenya had a properly laid down succession process. This kept Ugenya kingdom more stable than any other kingdom in the region at the time. Ugenya had a strong army because it had fought many battles with its neighbors from Wugatanza kingdom. In addition, Ugenya had a good climate and fertile soils, which favored food production and kept the people secure from droughts or famine that constantly ravaged other kingdoms. This was the source of envy from Ugenya's neighbors. Ugenya was also endowed with natural resources, national parks that preserved animal species and birds, as well as saving wildlife from extinction. This was easy because the people of Ugenya had adopted species of animals and birds as their totems and therefore had to jealously protect them. Finally, Ugenya had a big lake from which its people used to catch fish for food and export the surplus to neighboring countries. In my submission, I elaborated that Ugenya had a clear succession process where power rotated within members of the royal family. I also reported that King Musanje was not only the king of Ugenya, but also a celebrated warrior who had led the Ugenya army on many expeditions during his youth. Before Musanje took power, Ugenya was rife with constant inter-kingdom wars as other kingdoms attempted to annex it or install puppet kings. For example, a puppet king called Obuto had taken over the kingdom and almost wiped out members of Ugenya royal family. This is the liberation battle that earned King Musanje popularity among the Wagenya. Musanje almost single-handedly spearheaded the war that removed Obuto from power, restored the kingdom, and the elders later installed him as king. This is why Ugenya has enjoyed peace and stability under Musanje's king leadership. Among the priorities he has identified is the importance of a strong army. Like with any young man, the elders pressurized him to get married and have a family so that he can bring forth a successor. After settling in, Musanje married a beautiful girl called Jalia. But Jalia produced daughters which annoyed the elders. Musanje was forced to marry a second wife who produced 2 sets of twins. King Musanje was equally excited, and given his background, he named one of his male twins Mukenzi, one who looks far and detects the enemy from a distance. However, because it took long for Musanje to get the pair of twins and the 2 sons, by the time Musanje came of age, the daughters were ready for marriage. One of the daughters was married to a younger man called Lwembawo. But Lwembawo came at a time when King Musanje had not produced a son. Therefore, Lwembawo took advantage of this vacuum and played many roles, some of which were a preserve of members of the royal family. Lwembawo's conduct attracted the attention of the royal family and the public. His roles and the proximity to King Musanje became common talk in bars and other public places. King Musanje defended him by saying that since Lwembawo had no royal blood, there was no way he could succeed his father-in-law. He also agreed that Lwembawo attracted much attention because Prince Mukenzi was still young. However, as the saying goes, where there is smoke, there is fire. Lwembawo was on a mission. He created an air of confidence and fear. Many people inside and outside the palace started fearing to mention his name in public and resorted to whispers. Rwembao infiltrated all sectors of the kingdom. He started an organization teaching young people the objectives of the kingdom and how to protect Ugenya from future enemies. Through his organization, he stressed the need for a modern society where people could be free to choose their leaders in a democratic fashion. On a number of occasions, Musanje was alerted by the elders about the younger man's schemes, but he dismissed it as envy, as his in-law was mobilizing the youth and imparting modern ideas into society. Whoever stood in the younger man's way would be sacked immediately. Rwembao never hesitated to invoke his mother-in-law's name every time he wanted to instill fear in his rivals. To consolidate his influence and defeat his enemies, Rwembao recruited a shrewd young man from his group, which comprised of majorly people from poor families with no roots in the Ugenya kingdom of politics. The notorious group was composed of, among others, Kajiko, Sugura, and Kobushegu, the one who spreads poison. Emerging from nowhere, the group dominated the kingdom politics. They had no respect for elders. Using their proximity to both Queen Jalia and King Musanje, they replaced all people who were loyal to Musanje. Sungura and Kobushegu were experts in fabricating stories against Musanje's loyalists in order to force him sack them. On the other hand, Kajiko was a notorious thief who targeted other people's businesses and at times the women. This group isolated King Musanje from the population as well as his former loyalists. It is this isolation that weakened Musanje's administration capacity. On many occasions, his decisions depended on fake reports from Sungura and Kobushegu, who were experts in malice. Armed with this influence and power, Rwembao started his plans to become a king. Remember, he has no royal blood and an outsider. Secondly, there was no way a son-in-law could succeed his father-in-law. However, since the group had isolated Musanje from the elders and his former allies in the liberation struggle, these factors blinded Rwembao to harbor succession ambitions in disregard of the Ugenya tradition. Among those who Rwembao targeted was Mirandira. Mirandira was a stubborn man, but very clever. You could dismiss him as a fool or a drunkard, but he was King Musanje's Mudingidi, one who plays music for the king. He also used to crack jokes and he was a good commentator. Mirandira's speech was always characterized by laughter. The Rwembao group targeted him because of his proximity to Musanje. At one point, Mirandira was banned from singing at all public functions. He was also bundled out of the palace. However, the ban on addressing rallies and singing at public functions was strongly resisted by the Ugenya. Although some organizers of such public gatherings yielded to pressure from Kajiko, who threatened to withdraw their licenses, others continued to offer Mirandira permission to sing at their functions. One of those who opposed Kajiko's directives was Pastor Joseph Serwanja. What was interesting is that the functions where Mirandira was permitted to sing were flocked by many people. For example, Serwanja's church alerted many people and became very popular for young marrying couples. Mirandira's attacks on the Rwembao group also earned him support and respect among the population. Upon realizing that Rwembao's group had weakened, Musanje's kingdom, Ugatanza, started reviving territorial claims on Ugenya. The constant hostilities between Ugenya and Ugatanza awoke King Musanje from his slumber. He ordered Mukenzi to start mobilizing for war in case Ugatanza's claim graduated from mere threats to full-scale confrontation. In his report to his father, Mukenzi revealed that the kingdom could not manage a full-scale war with Ugatanza. Mukenzi explained that many experienced generals had been sacked by Ruembao. The mood in the population was alarming. The people, including the elders, had been effectively isolated from Musanje by the Ruembao group. Mukenzi reported that Kajiko had stolen from the poor to build his own empire. The group had invaded markets, abattoirs, fisheries, and there were reports of extracting human organs for sale to cannibals. Mukenzi also revealed Ruembao's succession plan. It was after this briefing that King Musanje ordered Mukenzi to restore order in the kingdom. Musanje also ordered the immediate arrest of Ruembao's group, and Kajiko, Sungura, Kobushega, and other members of their group were arrested. Frogo marched through the capital Kampala Banya to the dreaded Luzinga prison. Peace prevailed, and King Musanje's kingdom and his public ratings rose to unprecedented levels. Musanje ruled for a short time and abdicated to create a vacuum for Prince Mukenzi. This is how King Musanje saved his kingdom from his ambitious son-in-law, Ruembao. Tukomye wano. Tudamu nga tuzemu. Nze Adam Kungwa kade kawedeyo, media consultant, Joseph Tamale Mirundi. Bwati wakoze mukatabo ke, The Lion and...
Ne gamba abamaji. Kulayigye is a senior man.
Nesi kuulira, yogire kumzinda.
Yanko boli. Kulayigye is a senior man.
Yes.
Toyita ganti oli wamaje yasoka yafira mu kinabiro. Nono yafiridde mu kinabiro. Kuga abamaje bamanyira kunabira mu tenti.